Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very special Ganesha birthday webcast. Today, we are going to talk about how you can prepare for Ganesha's big day, happening once per year. We will talk about the 3 significant Ganeshas that are being honored during ceremonies at Pillai Center in Ashtraved. And we will hear we have a special guest, Priest Premaraja, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the mythology significance of Ganesha's birthday and more what we can do at home to enhance our practice. So, Premaraja, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're live from Mauritius, and it's late there, so thank you for your time. And for people who don't know, Premaraja used to work for Ashtraved and Pillai Center and is now coming back to start doing some additional ceremonies on our behalf. And on your behalf. So first, please let us know, what is the mythology and the significance of Ganesha's birthday? We've heard that it's the most powerful time of the year, it's his big day, but really what's behind that from a Vedic standpoint?
First of all, thank you for having me here. Namaste. Namaskaram to everyone. And Mahaganapati. This Ganesha Chaturthi is we call it, Dr. Pillai or Babaji calls it the Ganesha birthday, which is for all of us to easily understand. But this Ganesha Chaturthi is the day in which Ganesha was created and the energy of Ganesha blossomed onto our universe. There are many scriptures which speaks of Ganesha Chaturthi, the birth of Ganesha, etc., etc. I'm going to take the common one, Ganesha Sahasranamam, the 1,000 names of Ganesha. And I'm going to take 3 archanas from Ganesha Sahasranamam to help us understand what Ganesha Chaturthi means or who Ganesha is, etc., etc. Chaturthi Tithi Sambhavaya Namaha. This is one archana. Umanga Malajaya Namaha. This is another archana. And Sadyojata Mukhotpannaya Namaha. So the first, Chaturthi Tithi Sambhavaya Namaha, helps us understand the moon phase, the tithi, the basic understanding of the moon phase of when Ganesha was born, which is Chaturthi, the fourth moon. The next one is Umanga Malajaya Namaha. This helps us understand, this helps us to refer the mythological event where Parvati took the turmeric off of her body and then she invoked Ganesha to guard her while she was bathing. And then Shiva wanted to have a conversation with her. And he was met with Ganesha, and Shiva was surprised to know that there was a new being guarding Parvati. And then, after a couple of misunderstandings, Ganesha waged a war against Parameshwara. Because Ganesha, was invoked by Parvati herself, being touched by Parvati herself, he gets all the energy. He becomes capable enough to wage a war against Parameshwara, and they fight for a long time. And Shiva, being the ultimate being, he swiftly brings the war to an end and he blesses him with an elephant head. So this is the common story that you can easily find on the internet. There's another story, Sadyojata Mukhotpannaya. There's another story where there is a demon called Gajamukhasura or Gajasura who starts disturbing all the demigods, and so they make a prayer to Parameshwara, and Parameshwara, listening to their prayers, takes Parvati and walks in the garden of Kailasam. Kailasam is the place where Shiva and Parvati live, and in the abode of Shiva, Shiva takes Parvati for a stroll, for a walk in the garden, and there is a beautiful stage, a beautifully decorated stage. Parvati, again, being surprised as to what this is, Shiva looks into the stage, and there is a Pranava Mantram, the Omkara, the sound of Om, which is written on the floor through the western face. Sadyojata is the western face of Parameshwara. And so while Shiva looks through his western face, the Pranava Mantram, the Omkaram, the Om mantra is written on the floor, is being engraved on the floor, and Parvati looks at that mantra, and 2 elephants arise from that mantra, they merge into one another, and then Ganesha, and then comes out Ganesha. And the immediate next question would be, well, which story is true, and what is the timeline? And here, to help us understand more clear, we have a scripture called Vinayaka Paratvam from a person called Achiveli Kumaraswamy Shivacharya from Sri Lanka. And in that book, he clearly mentions that the story of Vinayaka being invoked by Parvati's turmeric off of her body, it is known as the Avantara Srishti. And the story where Shiva and Parvati together create Vinayaka in the garden of Kailasam, it is known as the Prathama Mahasrishti. And what does this mean to us is that Ganesha is not a son, or even though Shiva and Parvati hold the title as father and mother, there is a religion called Ganapatyam where Ganapati is the Almighty. And so Ganapati is the pure replica of Parabrahman, the Almighty. For the Shaivites, it's Shiva. For the Vaishnavites, it's Vishnu. And that is why you can also see Ganesha in Mahavishnu temples, where he wears the Tirunam, the sign on their forehead, the Tripundram. And in Shiva temples, he wears the Vibhuti, Bhasma Tripundram. And so it helps us understand that Ganapati, Ganesha, is the absolute and true replica or representation of the Parabrahman. There is also a shlokam, Ajam Nirvikalpam Nirakaramekam Niranandamanandam Advaita Purnam. He is the absolute representation of Parabrahman, and he cannot be created. And so Shiva and Parvati help him by giving him a form and making him the god of the remover of obstacles. They give him many titles. When Ganesha wins the war against Shiva, Shiva gifts him with a lot of boons, and Ganesha becomes the primordial energy, the first deity to be worshipped before every ritual. Ganesha also becomes the leader of Bhuta Ganas. That's why he's known as Ganapati. Pati meaning leader, or also Ganesha. Isha meaning a leader, and Gana here meaning an army of Bhuta Ganas. And so he becomes the Ganapati. And so these are some of the stories and mythological details and references that we have about Ganesha's birth. And this Ganesha Chaturthi is also another important day where we can meditate and connect with that energy of Ganesha.
Great, thank you. That's fantastic. The stories are always, Dr. Pillai talks about the stories as mythotherapy. So folks at home, these are ways we can connect with these beings, not just says one of the ways you can connect. One of the ways you can prepare for Ganesha's birthday is to be reading the stories and taking in as much of this information as you can, because as we are absorbing this information from them, reading about them, we're actually incorporating them more into the mesh of our energy bodies, right? In our intellect as well. So I encourage everyone to continue to do that as a preparatory step for this week. We have about 1 week and 1 day until the birthday arrives. So I know that, so you mentioned, and Dr. Pillai has mentioned, Ganesha is always invoked first. And so he's special to a lot of us, right? He's close to a lot of people's hearts. He's even crosses religion, and many people just adopt him as their favorite being, right? And Dr. Pillai also refers to him as the Lord of the Angels, right? Like the Ganas, all these beings that are here to help us and fight our battles and remove obstacles for us. On this particular day, I know we do rituals for him all year long, right? And you can call upon him every day. But on this particular day, what is the most significant ceremony or ritual that is done on his behalf that we benefit from?
Well, before that, you mentioned something very beautiful. It's called mythotherapy that Dr. Pillai mentioned. There are, it's funny because, there are rituals in which, the mantras are very short, and the rituals are, consist just of storytelling. Like, for example, we perform Satyanarayana Puja every Paurnami, even at Homa Center, where the mantra, the puja itself takes around 15, 20 minutes, and the rest, 20 to 30 minutes, we just share the story of Satyanarayana. Just the stories of, the daily ritual, etc., etc. And it is mentioned that, listening to that story in itself will remove karma, will gift you boons, etc., etc. So that's a very beautiful thing that you mentioned. And the significant thing that happens during Ganesha Chaturthi, and that is something very unique to Ganesha Chaturthi, is the clay Ganeshas. I remember I was, the last time, I think it was around 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. In 2014, I celebrated Ganesha Chaturthi at the Homa Center, where we had around 3,000 clay Ganeshas, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of rituals. It was physically and mentally, a challenging ritual, but it was a beautiful ceremony where we worshipped around 3,000 Ganeshas for a span of around 10 days, and then we had to take all the Ganeshas. And there are individuals who have sponsored for each and every clay Ganesha. Sankalpam had to be done for every Ganesha. Rituals have to be done, and then we also take those Ganeshas and go to the sea to immerse them. So it's a beautiful experience. It's a wonderful experience, and that clay Ganesha worship is something unique to Ganesha Chaturthi, and it's very beautiful because Shaivagamas and ritual-based scriptures help us understand what are the materials in which the energy of God can stay, and also for how long. This science is mentioned only in the Agamas. You don't find that on you can't find these on Vedas, and then only in Agamas you can find these details. And it is very beautifully mentioned that, in turmeric, you can invoke Ganesha, and that's how we invoke usually at houses when we perform rituals for other people. And in clay, in sand, you can invoke Ganesha. And Darbha grass, there's a beautiful grass in which you can invoke Ganesha. And that grass is also used for many, many spiritual activities. And, in a reflecting glass, in a pot, in a kalasham, in a rock, there are many places in which you can invoke God. And so this clay Ganesha is very special and very unique. It represents the Prithvi Tattva, the Prithvi Tattva as in the earth element. And also Ganapati's mantra also has the earth element in it. Glam, Galam, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. If you are a religious person, you'll know that Lam Prithvivyatmane Gantham. When you do the Manasa Puja, you mention Lam Prithvivyatmane. The mantra for earth element is La or L, Lam. So this Glam, Galam, Gam Ganapataye Namaha has the earth element in it. And so this clay Ganesha worship is very, very powerful. And there's also a beautiful way where we perform the rituals for a span of 10 days or 10 or certain days, from 3 to 10 days. And then, we immerse him. And there are 2 dimensions to this. One is the dimension of the God. From a priest perspective, you look at this worship as, having the Ganesha with you and bringing him, to solve the problems. And then after every ritual, we let the God go. We call that yathasthanam, to wherever they belong. But from a devotee's point of view, from a participant's point of view, this Ganesha, the Sanskrit word for statue is vigraham. And the reason why we have that word name vigraham is because it contains the Shakti of grahana, which is absorbing. And so what does this statue absorb? It absorbs all our karma. It absorbs, the prayer, and also we call that vigraham visheshena grihyate. It has that visheshata, that special, unique way of absorption where your good intentions, your prayers for wanting certain things for benefit, the statue will be able to gift you back whatever the prayers you want. But the negative off of you, it'll be capable enough to withhold all that negativity within itself. And so during this clay Ganesha worship, we pray that this Ganesha, this clay statue, absorbs all the negativity off of people, and then we dissolve them into the ocean. And so it's a very unique and very beautiful thing that happens only during Ganesha Chaturthi, and it's one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite of the ceremonies that are ever done, basically, to Ganesha. And if any of you have seen the pictures, and it might be on the sales page, but you can see how many
ocean of Ganesha.
There's thousands of these little Ganeshas, and it's just so amazing to see and witness, and then to know your little Ganesha is in there. So when you order any of the remedies, any of the packages, I believe, come with at least one, and then they go up in number with the different packages that are available on Astrovet and Pillai Center. So, and this is what's so great is it does just happen once a year. And I love what you just said, that he'll absorb. So he's like a little, he's for each person, and he absorbs the negativity, but then he'll give back the positive the blessings and what it is we want to manifest. I actually didn't know that part about kind of the giving back of the blessings of him. I thought he was just absorbing and dissolving on our behalf as a karmic transfer. So, so if anyone's interested, those are super, they're also super cute if you want to go check out what they look like. And I think there's a button on this page that you can go see. So another thing that we'll be doing during the Ganesha Chaturthi for Astro and Pillai Center at the Remedy Center in Chennai is honoring and having large grand homas, fire labs, ceremonies for 3 different types of Ganesha. I'm going to let you say their names since you will say it properly. So please tell us more about these 3 particular Ganeshas. Now, and just folks, so you know, there are 32 types of Ganeshas, and we've selected these 3 to be honored more in a grand way this year. And in the past, Dr. Pillai has talked about a certain number, like there's 11 Ganeshas we did ceremonies for. In fact, one of the rituals in the packages is going to the temple dedicated to the 11 Ganeshas. So there's a variety of Ganeshas. Tell us why there are so many, and particularly about these specifics about the 3 that we're honoring.
Well, the 32 forms of Ganesha is from a beautiful scripture known as...
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. Could you put your headset on? There is a bit of an echo. We're getting a little feedback from our friends at home saying it's a little hard to hear. Do you happen to have... I'm sorry about that.
Mute me, please.
Okay. Okay, folks, so sorry about the little interruption there, but I was looking at your chat comments, and there are some folks not able to hear so well, and there is a little echo. He's in a hall, so we're going to give him a moment to be able to plug that in. So thanks for your patience. And Premaraja will also be giving us a little bit of an experience of these different Ganeshas and repeating some of, I believe, their mantras. You can let me know when you're ready. Ready?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
That's much better.
Is this clear?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. So this 32 forms of Ganesha is from a very beautiful and ancient scripture known as the Mudgala Puranam. Well, the complete details of the 32 forms of Ganesha is found in a book called Shri Tattva Nidhi. And I think that book exists only in the Mysore Museum. And it's an excerpt from Mudgala Puranam. That's where you can find the 32 forms of Ganesha. In Shaivagama, there are 16 forms of Ganesha who are believed to be really powerful and very important. And in Shakta tradition, again, there are a variety of Ganeshas. These different forms of Ganesha, you know, taking, just reiterating what my guru told me, is that when there's a need, the God presents himself in a certain form, in a certain way. And Ganesha has presented himself for his devotees in different forms to take away their sufferings and, you know, to give them a lot of gifts. And there are many forms that he's taken. And here we have 3 Ganeshas for this Ganesha Chaturthi, you know, guided by Dr. Pillai himself. The first one is Haridra Ganapati. Haridra meaning turmeric. And this turmeric form of Ganesha is known as the Golden Ganesha. In Shaivagama, he is known as the one who provides abundant prosperity to his devotees. In Shakta tradition, like around 3 years ago, I had the blessing to be initiated with the mantra and with the sadhana of Bagalamki, you know, a very powerful tantric goddess. And my guru, the one who initiated me, he used to make me perform a ritual to Haridra Ganapati before I perform every ritual. And so this Haridra Ganapati, however, is not the same as you find in Shaiva scriptures. This is from the Shakta tradition. And in the tantric form, he becomes the one who seizes the negative forces. And if you need the Sanskrit, if you want to know the Sanskrit word, it's known as Tambhanam, you know, seizing. And so this Haridra Ganapati in the Shakta tradition, you know, so when I mention tradition, these are a collective of mantras and yantras and worship and different, you know, there are a collective of things that make
a god in a be a certain form, or be a certain provider. And so in the Shakta tradition, he becomes the one who seizes the negative energy, and in the Shaivagama, he becomes the one who provides abundant prosperity to the devotees.
And I shared a picture for our friends at home. I shared a picture of him, and you can tell he's a turmeric color. He's a different color than the others, so they can see him, just so you know.
Mm-hmm. And the next Ganesha we have is Kshipra Ganapati, or Kshipra Prasada Ganapati. Kshipra Ganapati is the one who Shigra Phaladayakaha, the one who can, bless, or answer your prayers very fast. And also, Danta Kalpalata Pasha. Kalpalata meaning a branch of the tree that, the desire fulfilling tree, Kalpaka Vriksham. He has a branch of that, a creeper branch of that in his hand. Danta Kalpalata Pasha Ratna Kumbhopa Shobhitam. And so this Ganesha is the one who can fulfill your prayers very fast. And I'm sure that we live in a very fast world. We want all the prayers to, be answered very fast. We want things to happen. Things to happen very fast. And so Kshipra Ganapati or Kshipra Prasada Ganapati is found in various traditions, Garnapatyam, Shaivam, etc., etc. Oh, there you can see a flower-like thing, and I believe that's the flower or a branch from the Kalpalata, from the Kalpaka Vriksham. It's a very beautiful, beautiful image of Ganesha. And this Ganesha is the one who can immediately, resolve your problems, and who can also gift you with whatever prayers you have. So this is Kshipra Prasada Ganapati. And then we have Mahaganapati. This Mahaganapati is the ultimate, or how do you say, the original or the innate form of Ganesha, where, as I mentioned earlier, he belongs to the he represents the Parabrahman. And this Ganesha is believed to, the mantra, however, that is commonly used, Shrim Hrim Klim Glaum Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Vasham Anaya. Vasham Anaya here meaning attract. The common mantra used for Mahaganapati is for attraction. And that's, as you mentioned earlier, as Ganesha, like, being the loved one, despite people, people who fail from different religion and from different practices, they all fall in love with Ganesha, immediately. And that is because Ganesha, in his innate form becomes the Akarshana Murti, the Murti who attracts. And so even I myself have seen people from different countries, who carry a statue or an image of Ganesha with them, saying that, this is my lucky charm. Every time I carry him, anything that I do becomes immediately successful. And that's who Ganesha is. He is the god of attraction, and when I say attraction, it's not about relationship. He can attract anything. Attract wealth, attract health, attract prosperity, attract people, and anything. And so he becomes the god of attraction, and he attracts everything, and he helps people succeed. And that's why Ganesha has been loved and, accepted in various traditions and cultures.
Right. And Maha is great, right? Like it's
yes, Maha means great, grand.
They see him here in this picture with all of the variety of things in his hands, and one of his consorts on his lap. So we have a lot of symbolism going on here. Would you like to explain anything else?
Sure. The Shakti, the consort that he has, is actually a Rahasya Shakti, a Shakti who is hidden. And I think it's a blessing that you can see her now visually. But usually when you look at a picture of Mahaganapati, usually the Shakti is not seen, she's hidden. And she is known as the Vallabha Shakti. And Vallabha Shakti here, it's not like they are married or, like it's not like a husband and wife kind of a relationship. This Rahasya Shakti, she is the foundation of his energy. And, she is the one who withholds I don't have the right English word, but she is the Rahasya Shakti who holds all his energy. And she's also known as the Kriya Shakti at times. She is the one who acts on his behalf. You know, when you ask which energy, you know, acts, like, it's not like Ganesha himself, you know, makes things happen. It is this Kriya Shakti of Ganesha who helps make things happen. And this is Vallabha Devi, her name is.
Well, interesting you should
Very
say
beautiful.
that, because Dr. Pillai talks about that a lot, that there's really the Shakti behind any of the gods is what creates the action, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Talks about that every person has Shakti, every, you know, human has feminine energy, and that's the activity, the creativity, whereas the male energy is the stillness, is the more meditative state, and the feminine energy is the one that is movement. And so beautiful. I didn't know that she's usually just there but invisible, and in this picture we get to see her, so that's wonderful.
Yes, I love that, because in a very personal conversation, or, you know, in a very personal blessing that I had from Dr. Pillai himself, he loves the scripture of Adi Shankara, Saundarya Lahari. And I think that's what you're quoting. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Na Spanditum Kushalamapi, I believe. I'm sorry. I just don't get that right off of my head. You know, I just don't get that. I don't have that by heart. So Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati. You know, it doesn't matter which form it is. Everything, every being, without Shakti, they're only, you know, an immovable, or you know, a lifeless thing. You know, only with Shakti they become a being. And so, yes, I just want people to know that, you know, Dr. Pillai's immense love for scriptures and these kind of references that helps understand how the universe works. You know, I think it's Saundarya Lahari, and that's the knowledge. It's
Right.
beautiful that you can see right in front of you.
Yes. And some folks are asking about significance. Is there significance to the colors, and anything? You could also go
Yes.
through some of the symbols of what he's holding.
Yes. Unfortunately, you know, I don't know the English names, but we can see the Pasham, the Ankusham. Pasham is the rope with which he controls the desires, and Ankusham is also a symbol of controlling once again. And he also has a ratna, a kalasham, you know, a pot in his hand, and ikshudandam. And this form of Ganesha is somewhat unique. And you spoke about the colors, right? Shyama varnam dinetrancha karanda makutanvitam utpalam dakshine haste vame lamba karanvitam. So Shyama varnam is the greenish color of the Shakti. You know, so the Kriya Shakti, the Vallabha Devi, the goddess that we have, the consort of Ganesha, her skin color is kind of greenish. Shyama varnam dvinetrancha. And so that's the color of the Shakti herself. And Ganesha, here, even though he see him in a human color kind of a skin tone, Ganesha usually is a bright white. You know, he like a spatika, like a crystal. He shines white and bright like the crystal. And also here, I don't think you see his sacred thread. And Ganesha's beautiful sacred thread is actually a snake. You know, he wears snake just like his father. And I think the Shakti, Kriya Shakti, is hiding his sacred thread here. But yes, there are so many things here.
Yeah, it's behind there. You can't see it very well.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. And one of the mantras you were mentioning, I think before, and Dr. Pillai has talked about this, it's a mantra for attraction. And if folks are interested in more details on that, we have it in what's called Ganesha Decoded course. And Dr. Pillai breaks down like basically almost every syllable, every mantra inside that mantra. And it's really powerful. So if anyone's interested in kind of going deeper into that particular mantra, that you can see that in that course. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing now for this. And also the courses are, I believe they're all half price right now until Ganesha's birthday. So if you want any Ganesha course that we have, this is the time to purchase them. It's I don't think they're never less than right now. So, what can we do at home? I'll tell our folks what Dr. Pillai has recommended that we do. One of the things is to have a little Ganesha we keep with us all the time. Here's a little one that I received from, I don't know what year it was, but from ordering one of the Ganesha Chaturthi ceremonies, and he's tiny enough to take with you anywhere. So Dr. Pillai recommends you have a Ganesha with you, something like pocket size, and this helps us to take his energy with him because of the symbolism of who he is and what he's embodying, and it allows us to remember him, right? So if you have him in your pocket or in your wallet or in an area of your purse that you're going to see often, and you also kind of take him out when you come to you're at home, it's a way to keep him in your mind. And the way we build relationships with archetypes, with these divine beings, is to be talking to them, is to incorporate them into our lives. Dr. Pillai says to connect with the gods and goddesses as if they are your friends, as if they are so that you are able to remember. And he also references the book, The Holy Spirit, I think it's called The Power of the Holy Spirit, by what's his name? Oral something, I forget. But that's a really powerful book that shows how you can connect with a being that's not embodied and create a deep relationship where they will then be speaking back to you, and you'll have that connection. So that's one of the things you can do with Ganesha. And again, just having a little idol that you can take with you. So some folks on the chat are asking, what mantra should we chant at home? I know there's just the very basic one. If you could chant that a few times for us. We don't want to, thank you, Michaeline Roberts. We don't want anyone to get overwhelmed, because I know you said several today, which is great. It's just empowering to actually hear them. But repeat a few times, if you will, the Ganesha mantra we can do at home.
Sure. Pray to your Guru before we begin before the mantra of Ganesha is chanted. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vande Shiva Padadvandvam, Vande Guru Padadvandvam, Avan Manasa Gocharam, Rakta Shukla Prabha Mishram Matarkyam Traipuram Maha. Om Sadguru Charana Ravinda Bhyan Namaha. Now the mantra of Ganesha that can be chanted at home. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Thank you. So a lot of you have heard that mantra before, and we do definitely mention it at Pillai Center. So that's the proper pronunciation in case you were wondering, that Premaraja just did. So it's great to listen to that version and practice it as much as you can. There is no need to get overwhelmed. There are lots of different mantras for Ganesha. There's 32 different forms of him. In order to simplify it for yourself, if that's something you're looking to do, just imagine your favorite form, or a very general form of him in his, in the symbol that we've seen in a lot of the pictures, and chant that mantra. So at home on Ganesha, so how to prepare to up until Ganesha Chaturthi is to increase your Ganesha practices. Be chanting to him every day, every morning. What you can do is put a little sign next to your bed when you wake up and put the mantra there, so that that's the first thing that you think, and while you're even lying in bed before you get up. So that's a great way to greet Ganesha in the morning and start your day with the obstacle removing mantra and the obstacle removing being, because he can come into our lives and he can break those obstacles. In fact, one of the things Dr. Pillai most recently said is that doubt is the primordial obstacle. Think about that. Doubt is the primordial obstacle. If we doubt anything is possible, all of a sudden that is not possible. It's the biggest obstacle. And once you break down doubt and create faith, anything is possible for you. So there's a video that Dr. Pillai did recently, and I encourage everyone to watch that video. It was released just a few days ago. And along those same lines, he also created a course. Actually, he didn't create a course. He did a teaching for the mystery school program and then released that to the public. So that's a great gift to us, because the mystery school program is something he does for an exclusive group of people. It's usually very high priced. But he was releasing this teaching, the mystery school teaching for Ganesha, that destroys doubt, to remove this primordial obstacle. And that is the webcast that we are going to air live on Ganesha's birthday, which is September 1st. We're airing it at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Check your time zones. And on this page at the bottom, there is a button that shows that you can go to that link, find out more. There's also a button about the ceremonies at the bottom. And if you purchase the ceremonies, you will get a coupon code for the webcast. And if you purchase the webcast, you'll get a coupon code for the ceremonies. So it could go in either direction, depending upon whichever one you purchase first. And it's $40 off for the webcast if you purchase the remedies. And I think there's $40 off of a remedy if you purchase the webcast. So either way, there's a savings involved if you do both. So what we really want to help people understand is that this is the day. We know that Ganesha can help us in a variety of ways. And this is the big day that is coming together for his energy to be more established and more prominent on the earth plane. And so you'll want to, leading up to Ganesha's birthday, you want to be calling upon him more. If you have a little Ganesha and haven't been carrying him around, now's a good time to put that into practice. If you don't, then you might want to participate in one of the remedies and receive one that gets energized during this time. And then the day of, Premaraja, do you have suggestions on what they should do? I'll tell them what we do, but from your perspective, is there anything that you're recommending?
Well, Ganesha is all about attention. One of the main reason why we worship Ganesha, as a prayer, yes, but apart from that, we knock on the forehead 5 times and we make a prayer to Ganesha. And it's a small ritual, it's a simple ritual. You can knock on your forehead 5 times before you begin an action, if you want to do anything, like it can be anything. Before you want to study, before you want to work, before you want to do anything, you can say Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha and knock on your forehead 5 times. And you can also do a simple ritual within yourself. So we all have a pot of a very divine elixir, a liquid. And you can visualize this liquid, this pot that carries the liquid, to tumble when you knock on your forehead. And this elixir within the pot to flow through your body. And Ganesha resides in your Mooladhara chakra, the base chakra. And you can visualize this elixir done as an abhishekam to the Ganesha who resides within you. And Ganesha, what happens? When an abhishekam happens to Ganesha, he's immediately pleased and he starts to dance around. And he's immediately pleased. So this visualization of knocking on the forehead and this elixir being done as an abhishekam to the Ganesha within you, it not only helps you concentrate, it not only helps you focus, but it also helps you succeed in whatever action that you're beginning. And on the day of Ganesha Chaturthi, what I strongly request people is to watch the rituals that are being performed, because you have very experienced priests who are performing these rituals. And just your attention, your sacrifice of time and energy to watch and participate through this modern blessing of internet and all these technologies that we have are God's, true blessings. And so make use of these and watch them and connect and pray and participate. And yes, more than the money and the energy that we spend, the true sacrifice comes through the attention that we can give to Ganesha. So if you can give your attention, I think you'll immediately get the blessings, and you've succeeded in in getting the blessings of Ganesha. You get his attention too, which is great.
Right, and they'll also be hearing the mantras, and we know how powerful that is.
Yes.
During that time.
It's been the prayer since mankind has been existed. Bhadram karine vishrunayama diva. May we always listen to the mantras. May our ears always be showered with beautiful, beautiful mantras of the God, so that just by those sounds, Shabda Brahmamayam Jagat, the whole universe is all nothing but sound. You can hear sounds everywhere. It's all the sound. And so we want to hear the sounds that are positive, the sounds that help us to, progress and succeed. And those are the mantras. That's why they're called mantras. They can protect us, they can help us succeed, and they can bring in loads and loads of. They're actually, they can boost positivity into a person's life. And so mantras are very, very special and divine.
Yes, and
so yes.
Definitely teaches that as well. Thank you. So someone's asking, do you knock on your head and chant the mantra, or are you just knock on your head?
It can be both at the same time. You can say Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You can knock, or you can make a prayer, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, and then you can knock on your forehead. Or you can knock on your forehead and then say Om Gam Ganapataye. It can be anyway.
Okay, great. Lots of flexibility for us Westerners. We like that.
Yeah.
And earlier you mentioned, I want to go back to the Haredra Ganapati, which is a golden, and there's a relationship to turmeric. And Dr. Pillai recently, in one of the courses, actually talked about how turmeric removes negativity, and that is a really big part of Ganesha's kind of being as well. And so Haredra is associated with turmeric, and there's many different stories, I believe, of Ganesha and turmeric, but most specifically Dr. Pillai has said that if you can do an abhishekam, you can do a hydration with turmeric and water and pour it onto Ganesha. So this is something that folks can do at home. And you can, if you have a turmeric root, you can hold it in your hand and do the meditation with it. So put it in the palm of your hand where it gets energized. And also that turmeric then goes into the body as a way of removing and absorbing negativity. So you can have one or two in either one of your palms. So that is a tip for you at home. And Nabu Botanicals, which is Dr. Pillai's herbal company, sells two different types of turmeric. One is called High Health, and it's energized with a particular mantra for removing any health ailments. And another one is energized with Shreem Brzee, and obviously for Shreem Brzee, for wealth and prosperity and joy. So those are ways you can also ingest the turmeric to remove negativity. So Ganesha associated with turmeric is really important as well. So,
and I also want people to know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I want people to know that this mixing of turmeric with milk and doing an abhishekam to Ganesha is a siddha worship. You don't find that in temples, not in the agamas, not in the Vedas.
Actually, it was with water, but you said milk, so Dr.
with water. Oh, okay.
But
yes. That you can find. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. But yes, water and turmeric. That Manjal Abhishekam, or the Haridra Abhishekam to Mahaganapati. Yes, that is commonly found. I misunderstood because I remember a Siddha Rishi, performing this Abhishekam. So I'm sorry, I was just lost. I
no
misunderstood
problem.
that. I'm sorry.
You jumped ahead. Okay, so folks, so just to boil down what you can do at home, if you have a statue of Ganesha, you can hydrate it with water, milk mixed with turmeric, orange juice, yogurt. There's a variety of things that the priests do. And if you just have water, that's fine too. So you want to take your little idol and hydrate him, and then do offerings to him, food, flowers, incense.
Do you want me to help you with that?
Sure, the priest should probably tell you this. Go ahead.
I just find you a little bit, I think I'll make it a little bit easier.
Sure.
So the procedure for offering things to Ganesha would be, the first would be the sandalwood powder, the paste, and then would be the flowers, and then the incense, and then the light, and then the food offering, and then the final light. So once again, first the sandalwood paste, second would be the flowers, third would be the incense, fourth would be the light. It's preferably a ghee lamp, or if you don't have ghee lamp, any kind of lamp. And then fifth would be the food offering, any edible item. And then the last would be, if you don't have camphor, if you can't show that Mangala Arati, the final light using a camphor, you can use the same lamp, the ghee lamp or any lamp that you had previously, and offer that as the final prayer. This would be the procedure. And so sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, light, food offering. So when do we pray is a question, right? So after the food offering, you can make a prayer and then do the final Maha Arati, the final lamp offering to Mahaganapati.
Okay, great. So making the offerings, do your prayer, and then do your final light offering, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you can do this with a yantra as well. So folks are asking, so whether you have a statue or a yantra, you can do the same offerings, same ceremony to that.
Even a picture, I'm sorry to interrupt. Even a picture.
Right, and I was gonna say, if you don't have any of those kind of 3D items, you can print out a picture of Ganesha, and that is available anywhere on the internet pretty much. So you can just create this item that you have that you're gonna be making offerings to, because you're calling upon his energy in whatever form that is, whether it's the statue or the yantra or a picture of him. And that's really important to do. And then I do highly recommend that you, if you can participate in any of the ceremonies, this clay Ganesha thing is the best ever. It's, as Premaraja had mentioned, and Dr. Pillai talks about all the time, how this is just such a boon to us to have this type of spiritual technology available in this transference. So there's a variety of different packages that you can pick from. And then of course I mentioned the webinar, which we are going to be airing live next Sunday. So you'll be doing your offerings at home to Ganesha. You will watch. If you can't participate in any of the packages for the ceremonies, then you should at least tune in and watch free, because we do air many of them, and then be chanting and in prayer for most of the evening. So the special time is, can you tell us a little bit about the special? There's a fourth moon and then his birth star, is that correct?
Yes. I believe the rituals are being scheduled at the perfect time. So as I mentioned, it's very, very preferable that people participate and perform their rituals when the rituals are being performed.
I see. So, but that's in India, that's IST. So we should also be paying attention to our time zone of when that overlap is. And it's with, which star are we paying attention to?
Since, I'm sorry, because, since I came here to Mauritius, I'm really confused with time zones, so I'm not prepared for this. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I just know the Mauritian time zone.
Right. So the fourth moon is overlapping with Chitra or Hasta.
Hasta Nakshatra.
I always mix that up. Okay, so folks, so you would look at your Hora watch and see when the fourth moon overlaps with Hasta. If it doesn't, then you wouldn't. Sometimes it doesn't, but just check your times. For example, in the U.S., it's starting Sunday evening and it's going into Monday, which is why we are hosting the live airing of the live webcast on Sunday evening US times. So that's where so in your time zone, that's when you'll want to be performing your particular ceremonies. So do we have any questions? Any questions in the chat about anything we said today, anything we didn't, that you'd like, that we didn't cover, anything for Priest Premaraj? Michaeline's asking about kumkum. Kumkum isn't offered to Ganesha, correct?
Controversial question.
Oh,
It is offered, not as an abhishekam, but you can apply chandanam and kumkumam on his forehead.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Any questions, folks? Now's the time to put them in the chat. I don't see any. I guess we covered everything. So hopefully everyone knows what they need to do, can set themselves up to really make the most of this big day. What we do, and you can actually get a little clay Ganesha. If you're in India, of course, they're available everywhere. And if you're not, like if you're in the US, they may be available in Indian stores, and you can go and get one if you like. So you just have to make sure that they are dissolvable and that they are environmentally friendly, because what you can do is have one at home and pray to it for at least 3 days after Ganesha Chaturthi, and then dissolve it in running water, is what Priest Premaraja was telling me earlier. So you can bring it to a stream or an ocean, something that is moving. And if you, I do both, right? So I order the remedies online, and I always do Ganesha. This year I did Elite because I wanted to get all of the clay Ganeshas I could, but I didn't want Elite Plus because I didn't want the extra statues because we have so many. So you look at the packages, see what works best for you. And then what we do is we also try and get one locally and put our prayers into him, and then bring him to the ocean to be dissolved. So that's something that you can do. And in Dr. Pillai's houses, we always have a big ceremony. So we'll do a hydration to all the Ganesha statues that are there. We'll make sweets for him and offer tons of flowers. He loves mangoes, and he loves sweets. So Premaraja, do you want to tell us any more about like the offerings, like kind of making it grand and special?
I wish I could, but I can't, give out the complete recipe of modakam. Modakam, or in Tamil we call it kurukattai. That's one of the most favorite offerings to Ganesha. I wish I could give the recipe, but it's too long and I don't want to take this down now.
We can look that up. We can look that up.
Yeah.
Modakam,
Yeah.
Okay. So,
modakam or modak. Yes, kurukattai. That's Ganesha's favorite food offering. But yes, like how we say, Kaitala niraikani appamudu aval puri kappiya karimugan adipeni. Aval, which is flat rice, the flattened rice, you can offer that to Ganesha. Appam, one other Tamil traditional food item, you can find the recipe on the internet. Puri, another, this is the puffed rice. So,
yes.
Puffed rice, flattened rice, as you know, South Indians, rice. So many and different forms of rice you can offer to Ganesha. And yes, that's the best offering. Modakam, appam.
Mangoes.
And, mango. In fruits, yes, mangoes. And in fruits, we have very, very specific ones, but I don't think they are common. So yes, so those ones. And yeah, flowers. Don't forget the Ganesha grass. I don't know how it is called. I think it's Bermuda grass.
Yes. So Dr. Pillai has been talking about this for a few years now. Bermuda grass, you can actually grow it at home. In fact, we grow it in pots and then just clip it off and offer it to him, and it just continually grows. So folks, you can do that at home, or sometimes it grows naturally in wherever you may live. If you don't have that, that's okay. But if you do, that's a really fantastic offering. You can also order Bermuda grass seeds online, and Dr. Pillai said you can offer those into the candle or ghee lamp. That's another technique that you could do at home. So lots of techniques that we've kind of mentioned here today. And then Yeah, a lot of flowers. His favorite color is orange. So that's, we try to get orange flowers if we can. Otherwise, anything will do. What else?
Aromatic flowers, more than orange flowers, aromatic flowers. Ganesha loves aroma. So any flower that gives out a beautiful aroma, you can give that to Ganesha. And yeah, that Durva grass, the Burmida grass, has a beautiful story to it. If you can, find the details on the internet, please do, because that story, the story of gratitude, the significance of that grass is very, very beautiful. So if you learn about it, then you'll know how important and how divine it is, and then you'll offer it for sure.
Do you know the story?
I do. If you want me to give this a synopsis, a very small version of that story, there was a demon called Analasura. He was the form of fire, and again, Ganesha waged a war against him, and he was very strong. He received the blessings of Shiva as usual, and so he was very strong. So Ganesha fought him for a very long time, and Ganesha finally realized that he couldn't beat him. And so what Ganesha did was he took a Vishwarupam, a huge form of himself, and he swallowed the demon. The moment he swallowed the demon, his stomach started to hurt because he is the form of fire. So his stomach started to hurt. He said, I've solved all of your problems, but now I have my problem, and it's a burning stomach, so help me. And so a lot of people came and gave him a lot of water and milk and everything, and nothing cured his stomachache. And the only thing that cured his stomachache was this grass. And so the moment he took this grass, his pain went away, and he smiled, at last, and he said, well, whoever takes away my pain, I'm always grateful for that, and I'll bless them. And so the God, we believe that it's a simple leela, a playful thing in which God preaches the importance of gratitude. And so, it's very beautiful. God is in debt of your offering, and he would definitely give, bless you in return. So it's a very beautiful lesson. It's a beautiful story.
Ah, that's beautiful.
So,
I love it. I'm definitely going to offer it all the time now.
yes.
That's
you can
really
actually consume it. You can make a juice out of it and consume it also.
Yeah.
It stops, from body odor. It helps you with body odor. It helps you in digestion, Ayurvedically speaking, it helps you with digestion. It takes away all the heat off of your body. It brings in a lot of, it balances your body temperature. It has a lot of medicinal values.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so there's some questions in the chat now. After you make the food offering and you leave it to Ganesha for a bit, you can consume that, folks. So
absolutely, yes.
Prasad, and that's been blessed, and so you can do that. Someone's asking, can we have the mantra that Dr. Pillai chants before his webinar? I don't know which one it is, folks.
The big Moola mantra, Shreem Hreem Kleem Dlam. I think that's the one.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to repeat that once?
I can't. I'm initiated with it. I'm sorry.
You can't. Okay, so folks, if you want to receive it, it's the one in Ganesha Decoded. That's the one. So it's rather long. It's not huge, but it's long enough, and that's the mantra in Ganesha Decoded, which I have to say it's one of my favorite courses. It's definitely my favorite Ganesha course. Dr. Pillai delivered it during Guru Purnima 2 years ago, and so it was just like when he really delivers a live teaching, there's so much energy and power behind that. So that's where it is. The offerings at home, so just to recap, folks, when you're offering any of the foods, we have the ones that Premaraja mentioned, modak?
Modakam, yes, modak.
As you could look that up. Ladu, you can actually, we just made some ladu. I made ladu last night for Krishna. So you can make ladu, it's not that hard.
Flattened rice, puffed rice.
Yeah, so there's a mixture that Dr. Pillai creates, and it's made out of puffed rice and then a sugar. We use brown sugar because it's, I think it's jaggery in India, but in other countries you can use a brown sugar. And then there's little like roasted chana, and mix those together. And Dr. Pillai says that's one of his favorite things. So we do that, and that's very easy to get. You can actually order those online, probably on Amazon, or go to your local Indian store and purchase those. Just mix them. You don't have to cook, nothing, and then offer. And then there's the mangoes. So that's what you can offer for food. Make sure you have lots of fragrant flowers and the sandalwood, the incense, and what else was there? Just ghee.
Sandalwood powder,
Mhm.
flowers, incense, light, food offering, prayer, and then the final arati. Light again.
Thank you. So hopefully, folks, you should be all set up for your at-home ceremonies and be tuning into the ceremonies that are being performed in India. And like I said, there's ways for you to save on the webcast and the ceremonies. If you purchase one or the other, you'll get those coupons in the mail. And all the Ganesha courses are, I believe, half off right now, which is incredible. This is the time if you'd like to purchase any of them. And be sure to carry your little Ganesha around, especially this week leading up to Ganesha Chaturthi, and rekindle the connection with him if you haven't done it in a while, or create a new one, or just continue to maintain one that you've established. So I want to thank all of you for joining, and thank Priest Premaraja for your presence here and your wisdom. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared. And folks at home, thank you for joining. Remember that we create a collective consciousness when we're together in these environments, and same thing is going to happen next Sunday when we all watch the Ganesha webcast together. That is a global coming together of energy and power that we make happen on these when we're meditating together. So thank you again, Priest Premaraja. Have a wonderful evening in Mauritius, and folks, you'll be hearing more from him in the coming months. He'll be starting to perform some remedies, and we'll have another webinar kind of introducing those. Anything you'd like to say to our friends before you go?
Yes, thank you very much for having me here. Thanks to Dr. Pillai. And yes, let people, may everyone receive the blessings of Ganesha, and yes, put in enough effort so that you receive, this investment of your time and energy and your attention to Ganesha. I assure you, I promise you that it'll be blessed back in thousands and thousands of folds. May Ganesha bless you, and wish you all the success and prosperity and love in the world.
Namaste.
Namaste, Shiva.
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll talk to you soon.